We are Anna Bernal and José Ferragut, and these last 5 months we have been living in Vienna and studying in the PhD doing an Erasmus program. This experience has been amazing, and we have had time to discover the city, the country and the neighboring countries as well. Vienna is the biggest city and the capital of Austria and has a population of more than 1.8 million people. Vienna is based by the Danube and is near to the borders of the Czech Republic, Slovakia and Hungary. Its official language is German, and most of the population is able to speak a little bit of English. For the Mercer Quality of Living Survey, Vienna is the most livable city in the world since 2009. Moreover, the city center is declared a World Heritage Site to its cultural background. Lastly, Vienna has multiple names beside the official one. It's also known as the City of Music, the City of Vals, the City of Coffee and the City of Dreams.
Through a deriva in and around Vienna, we discovered all the different faces of the city. For this reason, we conclude that Viennese culture stays hidden among the streets with Asiatic restaurants, bars from Ethiopia, stands of kebab, dance schools from South America, donut shops. But definitely, the most complex fact that concerned us was the influence of other cultures in the Viennese life. In order to make it more specific, we thought about one cultural aspect to focus on, and we also selected 2 districts of Vienna. The food is a basic need and one of the most basic signs of cultural identity. So, in this project, we have analyzed the differences that food establishments present in 2 of the 23 districts of Vienna. Innenstadt, where we used to meet with friends, and Brigittenau district in which one of us lived. Thus, our investigable question is, what are the differences between the Innenstadt and Brigittenau district with regard to food establishments?
In order to have an answer to our research question, we have used different methods. We did 50 surveys to people who's living in Vienna. We did an interview to one person who's living in Vienna for more than 20 years. We carry out a systematic analysis of different bars and restaurants of the 1st and 20th district, and finally, we did a bibliographic research. The surveys help us to identify the functionality of the districts, to develop an objective description of them, and to distinguish the preferences of food. Moreover, the interview gave us additional information to the surveys. With the systematic analysis, we have analyzed the nutritional value of the menus, the languages, and we have classified the different diets. Finally, with the bibliographic research, we have done a review of the migrations in Vienna, and we could corroborate our conclusions.
We weren't and we are not experts of the city, so to gather truthful information from people born or living in Vienna, we carried out a survey about the city to 50 people, asking for its functionality, description, and availability of types of food. The results that we have obtained are: the majority of the respondents, 78% of them, have been living in Vienna for more than 2 years. The more residential districts are Brigittenau and the 12th, and the working or studying districts are the 9th and the 10th. Viennese people describe the atmosphere of both districts as touristic and historic, and Brigittenau are residential as well. The first district is more expensive than the 20th district. 58% of the respondents describe the analyzed districts as intercultural and multicultural. Getting into the inquiry of food, in the Innenstadt you can find every single type of food from the traditional one to takeaway and coffee houses. They consider there is also bad touristic food or expensive gourmet food. People agree that every type of food is available in Brigittenau, but especially, as an 82% of the respondents said, Turkish food. 58% of the people answered that there are more restaurant chains in the Innenstadt than in the 20th district, and 46% of them believes that in Brigittenau there are more small food establishments. Finally, 78% of the respondents would go to the Innenstadt, therefore the center of the city, to have a drink or eat something.
First district is the most tourist place we have in Vienna, because it's old monarchy style and there are old buildings like the inner city. And I would say if you walk through the first district on weekends or holidays, there are more tourists than Viennese people, in fact. So, and it's really a nice one. It's quite different because it is not that old like the first one, so that means that's a younger district, and so it developed a little bit later. But even if you have a look at the buildings and everything, it was built for people who want to go to the city or to move from the countryside to the city, and so it's quite a lot cheaper, and the buildings are made cheaper and not with that monarchy style anymore.
After obtaining the results of the surveys, it was time to do a systematic analysis walking around Innere and Brigittenau. We selected representative bars and restaurants, and we have analyzed the languages of the menus, their nutritional value, and the Viennese diet. To do so, we have used the following chart. Analyzing the results of the 14 charts, we can say that all the restaurants have the menu in German, since it's the official language of Austria. In Brigittenau, the second language of the menus is Turkish, because it's the third largest ethnic group living in the city after Austrians and Serbians. The second language of the first district is English, although Italian is also quite common because of the Italian restaurants. Regarding to the nutritious diet, the most common ingredient in restaurants is bread and pasta, and as an accompaniment are eggs or tubers. They also eat meat, red and white, and sometimes following the Islamic traditional laws, the halal. Therefore, the nutritional input is based on carbohydrates and proteins. As a general rule, we can say that in the food establishments, they always offer sparkling water rather than still water. The Austrian Viennese diet is based on tubers, bread, pasta, vegetables, white meat, and trans fat food.
After obtaining the information from interviews, surveys, and menu analysis, we have done a bibliographic research. The main source has been the Statistical Yearbook of the City of Vienna 2017, and there we could check that the inflow of people in the city center is because of tourism. In 2014, almost 1 million of people in Innere were tourists and not Viennese citizens, in comparison to Brigittenau and its 51,000 visitors. So that, in the first district of the capital of Austria, we understand its multiculturality for the nationalities of the sightseers. On the other hand, we have analyzed the migration of the city in 2014, and we have seen that in Brigittenau there are approximately 5,500 immigrants and only 1,100 arrivals in the first district. For this reason, multiculturality in the 20th district is due to the nationalities of the newcomers.
Moreover, about food establishments and its characteristics, we can say that menus in both districts are written in more than one language. The common one is German, the official language in Austria since 1784, replacing Latin during the reign of the Habsburg. The second one in Brigittenau is Turkish, because they have been coming to Vienna from the 60s to work as what is known as guest workers. Regarding to the content of the menus, we could observe that depending on the type of restaurant, some ingredients were more essential than others. There is to say for the Viennese diet that it doesn't exist as such, but its traditional food is composed mainly by carbohydrates and proteins, which are the molecules that provide more energy to human bodies so as to carry out the necessary activities.
Project, it is not the one that we wanted to do at the beginning because of the limitations we have faced. The main one was the disponibility of time to analyze street by street the food establishments of both districts. Facing time limitation, we realized that it was quite impossible to do such massive analysis due to the dimensions of the districts. Finally, it has been difficult to obtain an objective description of the districts, since it is based on personal opinions, but we have tried to do it as accurate as possible. In spite of the limitations, we are very pleased with the results of our Meet the Globe project.
Thank you for watching our video. We hope to have piqued your curiosity about Vienna and its culture, not only for traditional aspects, but also for what other cultures have contributed to their own.